This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by Callum Johnson here in Grantham. Callum, a good 6 rounds tonight for yourself. How'd you feeling there?
Better than I did in June. It was an improvement. The timing was a little bit better. I took my time a little bit more. Still far from great, but it was okay. It was a good 6 rounds against a good opponent. Very tricky. He knows what he's doing. He does. He knows what he's doing. He's a tricky lad.
Well, we can see that it was a tough fight. Obviously, you got a few scratches, a few cuts there, but still got the victory. What is the plan going forward for yourself?
Yeah, put that camera on his
I don't think I can do that. What is the plan going forward for yourself? Obviously, we've seen you at that top level of the sport, and then I remember you having that little retirement for a bit, and then you've come back built like a Greek god.
Yeah,
and
I don't know about that. And a little bit. Got to get a little bit of fat off here though.
But what is the plan for yourself going forward? Like, where would you like to see yourself again?
To be honest, like you say, I've had a couple of fights now back. I just need to get busy in the gym, sparring, get more sparring, and just try and get a few big fights again. I just want a few big fights and see where it takes me. I am getting on now. I'm 39, but I've looked after myself all my life. I've never been a drinker. I've never been a party man. So I'm pretty fresh. So the plans now really is just hopefully try and get into some good fights, them title fights, whatever, British titles, international titles, do you know what I mean? But I'll speak to my manager Joe after the weekend and see where we're going.
What was it that drew you back to the sport? So obviously I remember when you retired a couple of years back, and then you announced you were coming back at a new weight division. What was it that drew you back to the sport?
The way I retired, I don't really call it retirement, I call it quitting. But I just, it got to the point I just couldn't make the weight anymore. I was killing myself, it was depressing me. I was weak. I couldn't train. I was, and I just thought there's nowhere for me to go. I can't go up to cruiserweight because it's too much of a big jump. But then when I retired and I was training a bit of weights and stuff, and I just thought I can't leave it like this. I've got to have a go, win, lose or draw. Just have another go and see what happens. And anything's a bonus.
And then
what it was is you just couldn't leave me, could you? That's what it is. You couldn't leave me.
I had him on the phone every day begging me back. Come back.
Yeah, you just can't.
I can't do this. I can't do this on my own. I need you.
And then, obviously, just looking at the state of the cruiserweight division right now, if you look at, let's say, the British title level, obviously you've got Chev Clark holding that British title right now, but there's some great fights around domestically out there for yourself, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Me and Chev Clark would be a barnstorm, I'm pretty sure of that. Stylistically, we match up very well, similar sizes. He's short for the weight, he's built like a tank. I think someone like me and Chev Clark would really make for an interesting fight. Whether or not we can get it to happen or something like that is a different story. But yeah, but again, all of Chris Billam-Smith, obviously he's got the big fight now with Ramirez. The cruiserweight's a very, very good division. A few years back, it wasn't that great, was it? It was always talked about the light heavyweight division and the super middleweights. But I think the cruiserweights now is on par with any of the divisions.
Maybe it seems wherever you go, it seems just liven up as soon as you get there.
I never seem to get too much involvement in it though, do I? But we'll see what happens.
A fight that I do want to get your thoughts on, a man that you've shared the ring with, Artur Beterbiev, obviously, notably, I think the big talk point was obviously you were one of the men who was able to drop him. He takes on Dmitry Bivol in, obviously, the Undisputed showdown. Obviously, from your experiences with Artur Beterbiev in the ring, how do you see that fight playing out?
It's very interesting, isn't it? It's a 50-50 fight. You got to look, people say about Beterbiev's age, but he is getting on, he is like touching 40. But again, someone like that's lived the life. He's shown no signs of slowing down in his fights recently. He's coming back from knee surgery. How's that going to affect him? I think the thing is the age going to affect him? Because at some point it will, whether it's now or not. Will the knee surgery affect him? Will Bivol just be too cute, too good on his feet? But people don't give Artur Beterbiev the credit that he deserves for his boxing ability, because that man can box. You don't win world amateur gold medals if you can't box. You don't win European gold medals. You don't do what he did as an amateur. So his jab's very, very good. I mean, his strength and power is obviously unmatched, isn't it? So, but it's a very interesting fight. if you ask me who I think is going to win, I say Beterbiev. Is that because I want him to win? You know, I think I do want him to win, just because it kind of like makes it look a little bit better for me, if you like. But it's a very interesting fight, one I'm looking forward to.
When you look back at your experience in the ring with Beterbiev, like, if you could describe his power, because that's the big...
Because I'm going to have nightmares tonight. Nah, do you know what? When I was in there, it's weird because you don't really feel it in there. Obviously, the man's got tremendous power. It's obvious. His record speaks for itself. He's put every man down he's ever boxed. But when I was in there, I was genuinely thinking, do you know, he ain't all that bad, this. And I felt like every time I was pushing him back and he was grabbing when I was getting close, and I was saying to Joe in the corner, I can feel him weakening, Joe. I can feel him weakening. But, you know, he just lured me into that trap, didn't he? And he got me. You know, the man's unbelievable. He's pound for pound, isn't he, for a reason. So I can't give him nothing but credit. But, yeah, I mean, the experience I had, and you asked me, at the time, I didn't feel like it was anything out of the ordinary. But it obviously was, because, I mean, looking back at the video, when he's hitting my arms, he's knocking me all over. Do you know what I mean? So it obviously was.
And then another fight I'd like to get your thoughts on what I've got you next weekend. I've just been talking to obviously your cousin Tom about this out there. Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium. A fight that has really gripped the British public. It's a fight that everyone's so excited for this fight. When you sit there and you look at this fight and you compare the two styles, who do you believe comes out on top?
I believe Anthony Joshua. I believe he could do it very quickly as well. But it's also one of them where I think I look at the Hrgovic fight and he was landing some good shots on Daniel, and he walked through him and he come through it and he grinded him down. But I think if Joshua gets them shots off early, I think he'll close the show. But if he gets into the round 4, round 5, round 6, and he starts getting his own work off and he makes it a bit of a dog fight or whatever, it's, you know, it's a 50-50 then. All of a sudden starts becoming a 50-50.
But overall, do you lock in Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll go Joshua. Yeah, early, I think, as well. Yeah.
And then just lastly, obviously I know we've already mentioned yourself and future fights that you'd like, but if we were to map out, let's say, the next 12 to 18 months of your career, what steps would you like to take within that time?
In 18 months, I think I'll be on the stage with my slippers on. Probably with my pension. I'm getting on, Anna. I'm getting on. I think I need whatever's going to happen needs to happen pretty quick. I think, like I say, early next year I've got to be in a big fight because, you know, I haven't got forever now. I think the end of this year I'd like to get like a meaningful fight at the end of this year, but if I can't and I have to do another small haul, I mean, I'm happy to do so. But after this year, you know, it's either proper fights or, you know, I'll be calling it a day because I can't make these fights pay anyway, you know, and they're hard to get up for. You know, it's like, you know, I've been in America in big world title fights. I've been in the big arenas and, you know, British title fights and things like that. So these kind of fights, as much as I do enjoy coming and being involved in them, it's still kind of like warming up in the changing rooms today, and you're thinking this is not quite giving me that oomph. Do you know what I mean? But like, as I say, big fights pretty much early next year, back end of this year if possible.
Well, Callum, thank you very much for your time. Good to talk to you tonight, and hopefully we get some big fights for yourself soon.
Yeah,
Cheers.
nice one.
Thank you.
It, mate.